Welcome to Framework. I'm John, one of the hosts of Framework. With me, as always, the other host of Framework. How are you today, Al?
Frustrated and angry and
Confused. Don't forget confused.
Confused and reacting to it in exactly the wrong ways to make everything worse. Because it's Tim Robinson Day. We're talking about the Chair Company. The latest installment in the greater, what is it, the TRU? The TRCU. It's the ITYSLCU.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I followed that. Yes.
I think you should leave a cinematic universe.
Yeah, Which includes, includes Chair Company, obviously. Friendship, his new film. Detroiters, that's got to be in there. I don't know, is there another...
If anything, Detroiters is less part of it than, you absolutely, watching Detroiters, see like the DNA of these really odd side characters with their completely understandable little games, but just like bizarre hang-ups. And they're all like a little fairly older than you would expect for comedic bit players and more like real person shaped and looking. And that, goddamn, does that go a long way to making the Tim Robinson Cinematic Universe unique and just makes everything funnier to me.
The use of like older character actors in I Think You Should Leave is sort of legendary. There's like offhand you can just pick your favorites. You know, there's the Santa Claus guy. There's the He Admit It guy. There's the professor they bring out to dinner.
Professor with the burger.
I'm joking. Yeah, like all those guys are classic. So yeah, he's doing this better than anyone.
And you get some of those in Detroiters. But also Detroiters is fundamentally more good-natured. It's a little more of a classic sitcom setup.
Right.
Even though it's got these weird... The world is bizarre in that way, and it's the periphery is stacked with weirdos. But, I mean, look, Detroiters might be the best and funniest, actually, installment of it, because he's got Sam Richardson there to make it a two-hander. And I mean... If you had told me coming out of Detroiters that this is going to be sort of a comedy, a cult classic comedy that launches a new superstar of 21st century American comedy, I'd be like, well, yeah, Sam Richardson's fucking comedic dynamo. Of course he's going to be like, I don't know how they've managed to not put him on Saturday Night Live. It seems perverse at this point. But he is such a more polished and traditional comedic performer than Tim Robinson is. For Tim Robinson's thing seems so singular and off-putting that I never would have guessed that was the one that was going to hit big in the streamers. You know,
it's hard to explain. I'm beyond just he really is goddamn funny. Like you watch I Think You Should Leave. I don't know. I watch I Think You Should Leave, and you watch it, and it's the funniest show of the last decade, probably. It's self-evident that this guy has the juice, so to speak. But yeah, it is odd.
Well, but it's such a specific thing that it's not self-evident that it would have the legs it has.
That's true. I mean, I wonder if that's, why he's kind of moved on from I Think You Should Leave, maybe. Is that we kind of have to evolve a little bit with the format at this point. Although, I don't know, I guess they could always just show up and do another season of that at any moment.
Of course they could, and I don't know that either Friendship or the Chair Company is really leaving behind any of the...
Oh, it's more extreme.
All it's leaving behind is the sketch format. It's not really, like, becoming more mainstream it's a little more narrative-based, I guess, but there's still so many little mini I Think You Should Leave sketches throughout the season of the Chair Company when he goes in to the show. I mean, there's kind of almost reprises of I Think You Should Leave sketches where there's the shirt store, which is its own little cult a la Dan Flashers. And the guy in the finale that is shot in the cold open seems to be running the same scan that Connor O'Malley is in that brilliant laser spine surgery sketch that segues into this little vignette of Tim Robinson being scammed by this slimy, angry producer. I mean, one of the funniest lines of this comedy of the century is Connor O'Malley screaming, "Your family hates you, only I love you."
It's so bizarre. I mean, the thing about the sketch format, though, is that you can just drop something at the funniest moment. You know, if the sketch needs to be 3 minutes long and then end because that's when it peaks, then that's perfect. That's ideal for this format. And he's kind of a master of the cutaway. And I think you should leave. Chair Company does not allow for that, though. Chair Company is more ambitious by like a significant margin because it has to have continuity. It has to be a narrative with relationships that persist. And, you know, you would think that's like easy shit. But with this style of comedy, it's really, really striking to see them pull this off across a season of TV.
Yeah, because the Tim Robinson style characters are really difficult to be around.
Yep.
They make everything hard. I mean, that's sort of where Detroiters stands apart because it has the central relationship between the two of them that is so sweet, like cartoonishly so. Mm-hmm. And so everything else can be very cartoony and fungible because it has the sitcom core of, we can always go back to these two just sitting in a room and riffing with each other. And that's great. And Chair Company doesn't really have that.
Yeah. This is, I mean, it's in a lineage, I guess you'd say, with sort of the Louis C.K. model, right? You take a comic talent, a comic voice with a distinct comic voice, and kind of like, let's see what happens if you give him a show. Give him an 8-episode run, and it is a narrative format. You know, you've seen, like, Danny McBride has certainly been doing this for a while at this point. But, you know, a lot of shows on television.
Structurally speaking, the Chair Company is more in line with the Danny McBride show than it is with Louis, which was an anthology show, and that's what became the brass ring that every comedian that fancied themselves a poet wanted to make.
Maybe it's an imperfect. I don't know. Anytime you're building a show around an alt comedy kind of persona, or I don't know if that quite applies to McBride, but I don't know. I tell you that what.
Like Lady Dynamite, perhaps, on Netflix?
Yes, absolutely, Lady Dynamite. The show this reminded me most of, Chair Company, while I was watching it, was Review with Forrest McNeil. The Andy Daly show on Comedy Central. It's kind of maybe the best version of this, honestly. An amazing, underrated show. And one of the meanest ones as well. It's such a cruel piece of television.
We started our podcast probably like 2 years too late for me to force an episode upon you about Andy Daly's Review. That you're right. It's one of the most underrated pieces of art of the 21st century. It's fantastically funny.
Yes.
And you're right. So mean, and the continuity of it, and what could just be a sketch show with no continuity. The way that he uses continuity to make everything darker and just it becomes a spiral instead of just a series of mishaps.
Yeah.
You know, it could be Toodles the driving cat, but it's this other thing.
The Chair Company doesn't have that cruelty in it, and nor do any of the McBride shows.
They both got a bit.
They have some. Yeah, it's just a high bar with Review.
True.
And so that's the most extreme version of it, maybe. But that's the thing, though. Like, these are comic personas that do not slot easily into, Home Improvement. Everybody loves Raymond. They have to find some other kind of way of defining what they are. This is maybe one of the good things about the way that television is segmented and become balkanized, is that there's room for this sort of shit. There is legitimately an audience for incredibly niche comic voices.
Yeah. I mean, even that, I feel like I don't want to undersell the achievement of how mainstream they've managed to make this. Or at least,
really? You think? I mean, it got renewed, I guess.
I think it should leave even by itself, but the Chair Company is also, has been doing some of the biggest numbers HBO's had in like a year or two.
How weird is that? I would never have predicted that.
Yeah. And I'm saying the fact that there's any sort of crossover appeal to this is remarkable to me.
Yeah.
And I do want to like give them credit for that. Even that, like, that's not negating what you're saying, but I mean, like, it's somehow more impressive to me that there are some significant number of normies along that weren't eagerly anticipating Tim Robinson's like next project after Detroiters.
It's fascinating too because you can see the pieces of like the more conventional show that sort of exist within this, like that he's a goofy, embarrassing dad, and the actors cast as his family, would appear in a more normal show. in a lot of ways. And then you've got this other world of people popping up, like Mike Santini.
Well, yeah. Between those, you have the workplace sitcom.
Right, yes.
With Lou Diamond Phillips and Jim Downey and these people like...
There's a weird overlap. It sort of bleeds from one to the other at work, I feel like.
Yes. That's the liminal space between his domestic home life that's fairly normal and the utter madness that he's in the rest of the conspiracy stuff.
So, yeah, what a weird show, man. This is, of course, Tim Robinson's sitcom narrative show that I don't know. Have we kind of just jumped right into here? I don't know if there's somebody who is not familiar with the show. Well, you should have. I don't know. This is going to be a conversation about it, so maybe it's not worth listening to. But yeah, I mean, it has the format of sort of a cringe comedy, workplace comedy thing, but it's also just this absolutely.
See, I don't know,
like
if it does. I think it has the format of a conspiracy thriller, but with a cast of a workplace sitcom there for part of it that he's moving in and out of. I mean, it's you're right. It's an amalgam of things, but the conspiracy thriller stuff I think is what stands out. Is one, I guess, being something that is not evident in the other Tim Robinson joints, and what. I mean, one, I don't know. This got renewed for a second season. It's hard to see how many more rugs they can pull out on the conspiracy side of things.
Well, I mean, it ends with like the last 3 minutes of this are an out of left field reveal that could either be like it could either take this to an entirely different level of storytelling and genre, or be dismissed in the first minute of the next season completely. Either is likely. I would say either is completely valid. This is the Amanda, the woman he works with, is seeking some long con revenge and using supernatural powers to do it. That either that's the show now, or we're never going to hear from it again. And it's a wild way to end your series, especially one that I don't know. This also had a vampire in it for a second.
Yes.
Like honestly, I felt like I was following this, and then this finale really threw me for a loop, and I'm just like. This is even weirder than I ever imagined. Like last week, the penultimate episode felt like a finale. Like I thought it was at first. I was like, oh, that's how the season ends. That's cute.
Yeah.
Nope. It's this weird Game of Thrones setting the board for next season thing.
Right. Yeah. The as has become kind of traditional with a lot of prestige dramas, the second to last episode is where the climax actually occurs. And then this one... Yeah, like Game of Thrones, their finales had a tendency to feel like premieres of just setting the board. And it's like, but we also, I mean, even within that, we've cycled through so many, like, I guess there's a little bit of a Broadchurch style mystery here, or it's like your suspects for who's the ultimate big bad behind this conspiracy keep shifting. And it feels like the second to last episode finally revealed who's really like doing the chair stuff. And then the finale cycles through like, well, maybe actually Lou Diamond Phillips is his boss is his real arch nemesis. And then this other thing at the end, which said, claiming to be Amanda's boyfriend. Are we to believe that's Amanda in a latex drive mask?
I do the look of the guy in the Jason mask. I more questions than answers. I mean, I guess that's what they're going for, is that you are completely just thrown for a loop once again and been like, what the fuck now? I don't even, like, most of the episodes ended in some fashion like this. It's just odd they saved the biggest one for the end. Or maybe not odd. Maybe that's just how you structure such a bizarre thing anyway. Especially if they're confident in another season. Although I guess it wouldn't matter, really. Like, if this was just the end of Chair Company right now, that would be almost appropriate.
I mean, it would be maddening from a, I guess, mystery, like, conspiracy standpoint. Not just because it's like, you can do a conspiracy thing, more of a Zodiac resolution, where the resolution is that the character doesn't get their resolution.
It felt like that's what they're doing.
This is a pure cliffhanger, though. He's still standing in front of the person who's got more, lore and revelations to reveal. Or,
right.
Like, you're still... if you end Matrix Reloaded with him still standing in the room with the architect, like having the architect having not finished his speech, that would be a very different sort of cliffhanger.
What a bizarre show, man. One of the weirdest things, I can't believe this is a hit. I'm really, really surprised by that. But I mean, it did make me laugh an enormous amount. I guess that's the thing. I guess that it's not as niche of a laugh, I guess, as I might have imagined. Like, is he just universally acknowledged to be quite funny? I guess anyone who knows his name thinks he's funny, but I
mean, there are detractors for sure.
There's got to be, right? I haven't heard many of them, but there's got to be. Does he have like an animated movie series or something at this point? Like that he's playing, like, I don't know, is he one of the bad guys? Maybe I don't.
No,
that's the next step, man. He needs a DreamWorks movie.
He's been pretty busy in the I Think You Should Leave extended universe.
That's true, yeah.
Like, and I hope it stays that way. I think this is important work he's doing. I think that the Chair Company, beyond being very funny to me, in a way that is debatable, I suppose. I'm not going to, I don't know. If the guy being so proud of his plan to smuggle white pepper balls into the sit-down fundraiser dinner is not funny to you, I can't argue that with you. But what I can argue with you is that the Chair Company is, and as part of the extended universe of I Think You Should Leave, is one of the most important cultural documents of this century. And that...
Okay.
It's in a continuum now. Tim Robinson's whole comedic persona of, you can track the history of at least the 21st century America through each decade has a totemic American idiot. And
okay.
In the aughts, it was Will Ferrell with
certainly.
his whole, Ron Burgundy by way of George W. Bush persona of just oblivious, overconfident doofuses. And then I think in the teens, that baton gets passed to Danny McBride and the Kenny Powers type, which is operating at a smaller scale. It's not, that they can still kind of control the reality through their rage. They're a lot angrier than the Will Ferrell type.
There's a defensiveness to Danny McBride, I think, that is, that speaks to the moment, perhaps.
Yes, the Ferrell character is not perceptive enough to be defensive about the things that McBride is.
Absolutely. And Robinson is kind of like, it's all defensiveness at that point.
Yes.
Like,
and it's become much, much smaller and more conspiratorial. Even I Think You Should Leave. It's there. And I think there honestly is something that a proper sociologist could maybe tease out here about how the Tim Robinson character is always flummoxed and frustrated by how they think they understand the rules, but they can't get the rules to work for them. And so they're fixated on this one part of the rule, and that's not what people are upset about, probably. But why they can't. But you said we could say anything we want on this ghost tour. So I should be able to say Donkey Kong or whatever.
Yeah.
And that is part of the grander experience of the 2020s that, there's a whole generation of men who felt like they were told the rules of America were this, and they can't buy a house. They can't get a wife, whatever, or that they want or whatever. They get the job they want. And they
can't say the R word at work, all that. Yeah. Whatever it needs. Yeah.
And conspiracies really appeal to that frustration. It's just what the Chair Company has a finger on.
That's fascinating. It's almost like this could have been an avenue for McBride to pursue, and he kind of maybe missed the mark, missed the moment on that. I mean, everything has its season, I suppose. He's still doing just fine, but that would have been the natural progression of his stuff. Is But
I think he hit it big a little too early. Like he became rich and famous before the Trump era really began. And
right. And
because of that, his characters are still sort of on top of the world, even if it's sort of their own little small world. And they're not as
Kenny Powers is like a skewering of the manosphere 10 years in advance.
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
Kind of. Essentially, it's a sense of entitlement and fear that that entitlement and self-esteem will not be reciprocated or acknowledged.
I mean, he's defensively punching down too. He's worried about his status being threatened.
Right.
He can feel the Me Too era coming somehow, or the age of wokeness. And then the Tim Robinson person is just kind of flailing, kind of upward, kind of to the sides, but it's not as mean.
No, he's trying to play by the rules. Like he's trying to,
yes,
and he's just finds himself unable to hit them. He doesn't measure up to the modern ideal, like socially, and that is always. That he just rages at that or flails, like you said, yeah, and that is like kind of the core of every I Think You Should Leave sketch. So yes, this makes sense as a vehicle for him. It's not kind of I guess it is just sort of an iterative version of what he was already doing, put into a long form narrative. It's not a weird like total sideways thing like Barry, even though it resembles that occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, because Barry has some sketch in its DNA as well.
Right.
But I think
Stephen Root feels like he would fit into the chair company.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Surprising he hasn't been there. But he's probably too famous. Tim Robinson loves these unknowns.
Yeah.
That, I mean, you can call them character actors, but I don't even know if that fits because I don't know them from anything else. It's not, that guy.
Mm-hmm. They feel like found talent in every case. Yes. Like the security guy with the indoor wheelbarrow and all. Well, it's a long list of guys, basically, in the chair company like that.
Oh, yes. I mean, they're down to the so minute level where he's, just trying to look up a phone number and the guy's getting sidetracked trying to sell him, like, rhapsodizing about how high they stack the turkey at the deli across the street from the place he's asking about. But that's also, too, like, that's the I Think You Should Leave flavor. They said there is that frustration and flailing in all of them, but there's also a childishness to what they're flailing at.
Oh, yeah.
All of, that stands in contrast to say the McBride stuff, where the Kenny Powers stuff, it's angry, but it's there's sexual dynamics to it. He's got adult desires, and I think usually people are they're fixated on something that is something a 10-year-old would fix on. Like, oh, you love your mother-in-law is such a baby thing to say, or the guy who's. Again, Tim Robinson comes up to the guy at the gala and says, "Are they doing a sit-down dinner here?" And the guy immediately jumps to, "Oh, yes, but I'm not worried because it's something I don't like." Like, he's just like assuming that Tim Robinson is asking. His concern about there being a sit-down thing here is not like, oh, it's going to take too long or I'm not fancy enough. It's they're going to serve some grown-up food that I don't like. But I've got my solution. See, I've hacked the system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that guy. That guy's well. They all have a bit of a little comic game that they got. Jim Downey's got many. It's a really fun office ensemble, I guess. I don't know. I do get a little like, okay, I'm tired of waiting for these characters to be fired, kind of thing. Ever since the British Office, there's an element of that to it. Because it always feels like the sword of Damocles hanging over such a premise, and this guy has to get fired before the end of the season. It's coming.
I mean, this is a slight tangent, but I don't think it's fair to lay that at the feet of the British Office. It's much shorter and does get to that point by its finale. The American Office is the one that went on for 9 and 10 years,
right? Of course,
when everybody should have been fired.
Well, the thing is, this show feels like the British Office in comparison. It does not feel like American shows. This has that sort of, there's a weight to each and every sort of fuck up and betrayal and humiliation here that, doesn't get sort of brushed aside in the next week in the way that the American Office would.
Yeah. It probably brushed aside more than it is in the British Office, but that is actually a fantastic comparison. Now, like, it would be incredible if the chair company became the next British Office that gets like franchised out, and we could see like the British or the Australian or the German spin on the chair company could be incredible. Like, and like revealing culturally, like what does conspiracy lunacy look like in different countries?
That is kind of cool. But that is sort of a thing that gives this show such a voice here, and makes it distinctly not an Office clone in either version. This is its own weird thing. And, well, I mean, obviously, that's hardly the only thing. The movie, it's so goddamn weird. Did I mention there was a vampire in this last episode?
Right.
It's the conspiracy stuff, though, is surprisingly serious. Well, that's not the right word.
No, because yes, it can get very sinister.
Mm-hmm.
The stakes of the conspiracy never get very grandiose. It seems like the highest they reach is, somebody might be scamming money from the municipal government of Canton, Ohio.
Well, there's a drug conspiracy thing there for a moment.
I feel like that didn't last long.
It didn't.
That was the theory du jour. I don't know if it even survived that episode. But, well, okay. Is it time for us to talk about Jim Downey?
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. One of the best of the season, I think. Really good.
I would say maybe got the most laughs out of me of any of the side players, but that's probably not fair. He had, more.
Mike Santini, I don't know, man.
Well, I think Mike Santini is almost a co-lead.
Fair enough. I'll take that. Yeah.
Of the bit players, he gets a lot more, game playtime than the other one-off guys. The porn store clerk who's mad at his regular customer for just whacking off to the porn and not taking it seriously. Oh my God. But we're in something of a Jim Downey-assance in America right now, which is a lovely thing. They put that documentary on Peacock. It's like a little hour-long thing. Definitely worth watching. I mean, most people, your civilians probably don't know who Jim Downey is. They would recognize him as the guy in Billy Madison who gives the "I award you no points and have God have mercy on your soul" speech.
Mm-hmm.
But that's probably it.
I had no idea who he was until I saw this documentary. Actually, you're more of an SNL guy than me, but even
I
still,
guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that this is the guy on SNL, head writer for decades. All the most famous sketches, etc. Here's Ben Stiller and Odenkirk and Adam Sandler all just rhapsodizing about what a genius he is. I was like, okay, yeah. Well, he's one of these guys. All right, fair enough.
Well, all the way up through like Maya Rudolph and Bill Hader. Like he went from the 70s in like the first season, fired multiple times throughout the decades, but went into like the 20-teens. He was one time after he was fired the second time, he was brought on just to work with Norm Macdonald on Weekend Update. So he was the voice of Norm Macdonald in that stretch, which is
fired at
not
the same time.
Not the most popular, perhaps, but one of the most iconic stretch of Update.
It's my favorite for certain.
Yeah, and then got fired alongside Norm for the OJ stuff, and then hired back after the executive who was friends with OJ left NBC.
Yeah, he's like Matt Albee would be the Studio 60 version of him. The Matthew Perry lead is essentially doing Jim Downey. I didn't realize that. That was really interesting.
I still have not seen Studio 60, so your references are flying right over my head along with the rest of America.
Oh, you love it, Al. You got to watch that someday.
I did love a
disaster.
I did love the Downey documentary, even though it wasn't particularly revelatory to me. But one of the things that's great, that the only like kind of structure they have to that is they lay out sort of like his process for sketches and what he loves. And I see some of that carrying over into the Chair Company. I see why he's kind of enamored with Tim Robinson, perhaps, even though it would seem that his style is so much drier than Tim Robinson's. Downey sketches are not about people screaming. They're about people patiently over-explaining things that don't need to be explained, which is what the documentary explains. He laid out the classic, to me anyway, formula for a Saturday Night Live commercial parody, which is an ineffective solution to a non-existent problem. And you can see that in, a lot of classic SNL sketches. That does describe a lot of I Think You Should Leave sketches and these bit characters who have their ineffective solution to the non-existent problem. But they're much more manic about it than he would be. The classic Jim Downey sketch is the Change Bank one, where he's just sitting there kind of passionately, but not too excitedly, explaining all the different ways that this bank that just makes change can make change for you.
We're not going to give you 2,000 nickels.
No. Then the Chiron will come up to underline that point.
Yeah, good. He's funny, and man, he's really funny in this season of television. The games they give him repeatedly. There's even, it feels like a moment in the finale when they're presenting him as the mastermind.
That's true. That's it. The finale presents 2 fake out masterminds before the final one, which also could be a fake out, as you said.
Mm-hmm. But you could even say that the chair that he gets to choose how long he's sitting in is subtly rubbing it in his face there. In Ron Trosper's face, that is. Over the various slights he's had over the season with the I guess just the bubbles. I guess Robinson isn't involved in the mistake party in any way.
No, but that is a classic thing of him over explaining patiently the concept of the mistake party to Ron, who's already says he's not interested, and that's the Downey thing. It's amazing how well that fit. It doesn't clash with the more manic Tim Robinson tone.
Well, it fits in with the sort of office culture jokes that are going on. That over-explaining things that don't need an explanation is something that you can kind of do over and over again. Most of the HR stuff with Amanda is the same joke, too.
Yeah. And, I mean, a lot of the jokes on The Office, British or American, are about that workplace dynamic of HR. We have to say this stuff out loud, even though everybody knows it, or everybody except for Douglas, maybe. That's why. So now we have to have a meeting where we talk for 45 minutes about why we don't have a mistakes party.
Yeah. There's so much room for this sort of the blind alleys, I guess you'd say, for this thing to just turn into. And if I were to try to explain everything that happened in this season, I don't think I could at this point, because it takes you on so many wild goose chases and so many digressions, things that have nothing to do with Tim Robinson and still somehow make up a significant amount of the season, like the mistakes party. You keep kind of waiting for the shoe to drop on everything in a way. You know, the setup with the Jeep tours, or, you know, all this stuff feels like a lot of dogs that don't bark.
But then there's things
that phrase from the Epstein files.
Yeah. Speaking of conspiracies, you do. Part of how this is, I think, really smartly structured is that there are some things that do end up barking towards the end.
Right.
Lou Diamond Phillips asking him not to lean on the wall because it's an office was such a weird, petty slight, and then it becomes a plot element in the finale, and. The way, you know, the RC car enthusiasts. One, I love that they're having the HR meeting without him, and they're just watching the RC car people do their RC cars for a while. Sorry, the video they sent us is so long. It's funny, but also like they didn't queue up the relevant part before the meeting. It's great, and that's what. So like, the Lou Diamond Phillips character is actually really fascinating here, and how late in the season it twists to now where he seems like he is the figure in the I Think You Should Leave sketch who is the actual cool guy who kind of like, you know, can make the system work for him, and that the main and comic character is frustrated by. Yeah.
And he can be disappointed or frustrated or offended by Tim Robinson.
Yes. And then everybody else talking like that. I mean, such a classic setup of that. Robinson just kind of turns around and shoves him lightly, like unthinkingly, and he takes one step backwards, and then everybody in the meeting is going on about he could have really hurt Jeff. Like, yeah, he's lucky, he's lucky he didn't try that with Ben. You know, Ben's, anyway, that's a wonderful. I think you should leave sketch in its own right, but you just don't expect Lou Diamond Phillips to be the Tim Robinson character in that scene all of a sudden.
That is what's so fun about it. Yes. You can just see him sort of, you know, his eyes squinting, just being like, yeah, oh, he's doing it. He's turning into the guy now. It's it's kind of a fun moment that the show has trained you to look for at this point.
Yes.
Trained you to catch people feeling slighted.
Yes, and then he's so, you know, how prickly he is about his karaoke, like, is also an incredible layering of that. Yes, this is all, I guess, American masculinity now is my my thesis that even the bosses at these companies are still so insecure and frustrated that they can be turned into an I think you should leave character by a very slight provocation.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, that does seem to be, maybe the core of what his comic brand is. Tim Robinson's comic brand at this point is taking something too far after perceived damage has been done. Like any sort of assault on your masculinity, on your status, on where you are, and your security in that position. It has to be met with 1,000-fold force back.
But that makes it seem
without
like
losing
it's more...
your dignity. If you can avoid it, you can't. But
no, yeah, the dignity goes immediately out the window. But they can't acknowledge that it has already gone, so they have to dig down deeper on there.
Well, this is Farrell and McBride too. Actually, this is kind of the same,
right? But
American Idiot thing.
But like we were saying, it is about like your masculinity being slighted and all of that, but in a way that sort of it feels kind of orthogonal to the whole like woke anti-woke axis that suggests.
Sure,
it's not usually a direct assault on masculinity. It is what they're fixated on is no
status.
I did the thing.
Yeah.
I played by the rules. The rule said I was supposed to do this thing, and I did that thing. Therefore, you guys aren't allowed to be giggling at me. And they can't see that once you're mad about people giggling at you, it's over. So, but they're going to focus on that. No. It says that I get to roll again when I land on this space, and they just triple down on that. And
it's that drill meme. Oh, it's just like don't let them know I was mad. I'm not mad. Don't say I was mad.
Don't put in the paper I was mad.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's that writ large, essentially.
Exactly.
And Dan McBride would be happy to be mad. I think that like Tim Robinson represents just an even larger shrinking of sort of the psyche.
Exactly. He's very literally has a smaller head. That's what I'm saying. Dave McBride's got a huge head, quite literally and figuratively, in his comedic persona. And Tim Robinson's character, Robinson, has a very narrow pinched head, and his characters are very myopic.
Mm-hmm. And angry. Like, unmistakably. Like, it's still there. They just don't want you to see the anger.
Right. They don't have the faith in their anger that Kenny Powers does. That's, I think, what you were getting at a moment ago. That's... Okay, so we talked a little bit about Jim Downey and about Lou Diamond Phillips. I think we got to talk about Mike Santini.
Yeah. Waited too long. Okay, I don't know. MVP's tough, but I mean, he's pretty close. This was my favorite character, I think, for sure on the show.
I mean, it is almost like maybe the first time, like when the Foot Fist Way or something came out, where you almost feel like, am I watching this person invent a new comedic type?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this going to be? Will there be a Mike Santini type in other shows 3 years from now? But that's not a thing that existed prior to I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah, I mean, he is the most obvious sort of antecedent of the weird old man that we were talking about from I Think You Should Leave. He's doing that. There's plenty of those in Chair Company, but he's sort of the primary one. And one of the things I find most interesting about him is that he is capable of so many he has a huge emotional range in this. And the energy he's able to put out there, like you can feel really bad for him in one scene. And he's then like moments later, a terrifying character in some way or another. Like, terrifying is maybe a little too strong a word, but like,
I don't know. He does have a guy chained up in his bathtub at the end.
He does. Yeah. And that thing with his quote unquote daughter, that, at the end, that's legitimately surprising and upsetting.
Yeah. At the same time,
maybe part of the conspiracy might not be real.
Oh, no, it's real. I think that feels way too on brand.
I don't know. I don't trust that character necessarily, but yeah, it does. It's creepy.
Well, what's great about the finale is that we've kind of come to love that guy a little bit, and so is Tim Robinson's character. And I think he's realizing at the end, I forgot that I did meet this guy by him camping out in a bush outside of my office to attack me with a lead pipe. Like,
Yeah.
This is not a cuddly old man.
It's kind of a scary dude occasionally. And he gets the Christmas Carol obsession thing that made me laugh really hard.
Yes, they're gonna laugh at my grave. Wow, that is the encapsulation of the Tim Robinson character. They're going to be laughing at my grave. Please don't put in the paper that they laughed at my grave. But you talk about like his emotional range. That's incredible to me because the character accomplishes that without the guy. He doesn't have range as an actor. He's not a
really,
good
no.
actor. And that fits so. That's what's magical about I think we should leave the weird old men characters is they don't have to be good performers for their natural weirdness to like bring the thing to the sketch needs. And it also reminds me of another tip that I don't think this was in the documentary, but I think it was just in Jim Downey's like Conan O'Brien podcast appearance where they're talking about the Change Bank sketch and Downey's explaining that he wrote this for Kevin Nealon originally, which you could see.
Yeah.
But he was like giving Nealon like specific line readings because everything in a Downey sketch, like you have to, the jokes are so dry and subtle that you have to deliver them just right or they don't work really. But Nealon said, why don't you just do this one? Like you seem to know exactly what you want from it. And Downey says like, I normally I don't do that. But that time I came around was like, actually this is a situation where the piece is not hurt by this guy having no screen presence. And I think the Mike Santini character is not hurt by the actor being bad.
Enhanced in some way, actually.
Yes.
Like there's a distinctiveness to him. And he is so unpredictable in the things he's going to say or talk about that, if it doesn't really connect, you don't see it connecting up in the head.
Right, you can never be comfortable with him because of that.
And yeah, like in anything, he's capable of anything at any given moment. And like the chocolate King Kong gift is maybe the most shocking thing that he does in the season because it is legitimately like sweet, and then at the same time, it's like, wait a minute, no, it's not. It's he's inserting himself in a place he's not wanted and trying to join in this family. It's he's
been told explicitly, not to
weird, creepy way. Yeah, and that gets darkened too by the revelation from his daughter. So the quote unquote
daughter, yeah.
But then
that daughter thing, by the way, also that is a dark revelation for this show's plot, delivered structurally a lot like the Brian's hat sketch from I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah.
Where she is like quoting him so directly and at length about like after he tried to kiss me, he said like specifically this sentence structure. Yeah. And you can hear it coming from his voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
that's why it's so believable to me.
Oh God, what a fascinating character. I guess he also kind of reminded me of the Steve Little character from Eastbound and Down. Another kind of continuity to it, which is this a legitimately off-putting sidekick character. They're usually, they don't conceive of them that way, but I think there's a courage in making your sort of one of these this type of role legitimately off-putting and dangerous.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Steve Little character has a little more grounding in the toady sidekick role, but it is so distinctive through that guy's voice and his performance. And you're right, that is a fearless performance.
Absolutely. And it's one I think probably, I don't know what that guy's range is actually going to be. I think you would have to do a version of that character anywhere he went. But it's certainly, Steve Little. Yeah, but I think that's defined for me maybe just because that's what I've seen him do. It might be the same situation with, what's the guy's name? Mike Santini's name?
I want to say Joseph Tedesco.
Tedesco, something like that. Yeah.
Tedesco, anyway. Yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, the problem is it's just as Italian as Mike Santini, but in a just slightly different lane. So it's hard to keep them straight. But anyway.
Like, I feel like if this show happened 10 years ago, this would have been a Sopranos actor maybe. And it would have been
he was a bit. He did have a bit part on The Sopranos. I think he had like one line on one episode.
Great. Well, it makes sense. This could have been Paulie Walnuts or something like that, back in the day. But it's nice to keep cycling those guys through, I suppose. Clever comic engine for this show is to get. Well, I mean, this is the format. This is trying to find a way to turn. I think you should leave into narrative. I guess is how I always felt to this. Right. That's sort of what it is ultimately. Right?
Yes, and that's what Friendship feels like too. There's the movie version. I think you should leave the movie, and I think you should leave the streaming series.
I haven't got.
I can't believe they're both. They're both successful.
Friendship was. It was fine.
I don't mean commercially successful. I mean they successfully converted it to a movie in a way that the Night at the Roxbury sketch was not as successfully converted into a movie as the feeling of applying a narrative to I Think You Should Leave was. I think it works in Friendship. And there's still, I Think You Should Leave digressions. There's a drug trip sequence in Friendship that is very much out of I Think You Should Leave, and it's worth your watching it just to get to that part.
Oh, I'm certainly going to watch it. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of Chair Company in a short period of time. I think I watched the whole season basically over the course of 2 weeks or something like that. I think maybe the bulk of it at least. So I was gonna try to fit Friendship in there, but honestly, it was just kind of like a lot. It was there's a darkness to this that it sort of sticks with you sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. To wrap this up with two questions for you.
Yeah.
And I can go first to give you a little time to think if you want. Do you have a favorite I Think You Should Leave side character, one-off appearance of just somebody who clearly is in their own I Think You Should Leave sketch, a la the Pepperball guy? And what do you want from a second season
of
this show? For me, I don't know if this is my favorite guy. The Porn Clerk was really good, but I found myself lying in bed last night and just like my daughters were with me, and I was just laughing to myself, giggling, trying not to wake them up, because I was thinking of Ron Pablo, the 365 day a year Scrooge, cokehead guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how he calls up in the penultimate episode, he calls him up to give him the revelation about, I found out, I gave you the wrong name entirely. I found that it is aside there's Maggie S. was a different lady I was fighting with. She accused me of stealing some sunglasses, and I did, but I was going to go to my grave saying that I didn't. And just for some reason, the idea that he volunteered that information to Ron over the phone that absolutely was not asked for. But yes, I definitely stole this, and I was going to go to my grave. I mean, that's the I Think You Should Leave mentality. I would go to my grave saying I did nothing wrong on this ghost tour. Damn it. But that guy got off-screen laughs from me. Like Downey got a couple off-screen laughs to me too. We heard about how he got pinned under his refrigerator.
Oh, that was funny. Yes. Let's see. Downey would be. I don't know. He's in it too much, I think, to qualify.
I think he's just disqualified by being one too many scenes.
Mm-hmm. But he's certainly up there. Oh boy. I don't know. I really like indoor wheelbarrow guy. Really big fan of that. Oh boy, what was it? Just the other. Give me a second to.
You got your porn clerk.
You've
got the shirt guy who's running.
Running
a very elaborate sort of sting operation just to get people signed up for the rewards club.
I know who I wanted to pull up here. It is the guy who is angry about getting incorrect information about the Beatles figures that he was trying to purchase on eBay.
Yes.
Showing up at Tim Robinson's house, being like, "I'm paying too much for these, goddammit," and giving him a lot of pissed off attitude, and then just starts crying.
Right.
Because he doesn't believe that Tim Robinson doesn't have the Beatles figures.
He thinks he followed the rules of eBay, and he's very frustrated and childishly so. He's going to burst into tears that the system is not working for him.
Love that. I'm sorry, what was the second question?
Is there anything you want from a second season?
Oh God, well, I mean, I think that the only place to go now is to go full on supernatural conspiracy. I think we need aliens. I think it's mind control stuff is going on. I want to hear about government tests out in the Arizona desert and shit like that. But I don't know. That's just my touchstone for conspiracy theorist stuff. The fun '90s versions before it was so political.
Oh, you want more X-Files, less QAnon?
Perhaps. I don't know if this.
I mean, that's what we all want for America these days.
Maybe that's what it really is.
My want is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
I want Connor O'Malley. God damn it!
That shouldn't be too hard to ask, right? You could get that.
I was certain they were just reserving him for the finale. I thought they were going to rip off that Drive mask at the end and have him be under there. And I'd be like, "Who the fuck are you?" Being the stinger, like into the credits. But
Heidecker should probably show up at some point. This is very much his vibe.
But it's not the show's vibe. Their version of a celebrity cameo is Lou Diamond Phillips. But
well, he's just
or Jim Downey.
Member. He's the Henry Winkler of this show.
True. Connor O'Malley actually strikes me as really the perfect sort of on the evolutionary scale of American Idiots. He is the missing link between Danny McBride and Tim Robinson. He's the angrier, more combustive version of Tim Robinson. But it's maddening to me that he did not show up this season.
There is, the Pipe Rock Theory video that he put out this year feels very much like this show, basically. Did you see that?
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen that one. Which
Pipe Rock Theory?
No. I have something to look up now.
Yeah. Google Pipe Rock Theory. It'll pop right up on it. You'll love it. It's essentially this show, the entire season of this show in about 5 minutes.
And all right, fine. That'll be my homework. If you haven't seen it, look up just the first couple minutes of his appearance on Conan O'Brien's podcast. Jim Downey's appearance. I mean, not Tim Robinson.
Sure. Okay, I can do that. I could see a lot of alt comedy people showing up on this show in the next.
But I don't want that writ large. I think that
no Paul F. Tompkins must be smaller, right?
Right. Even Heidecker is pushing it.
No higher than Duncan Trussell.
Right. But Connor O'Malley is part of the, I think he's in his episode of Detroiters is probably the best one overall.
So's Heidecker. People. There's anybody who was on I Think You Should Leave. I'd like to see on this, I guess.
Right. Well, but I'm saying we don't need Vanessa Bayer and Beck Bennett to start showing up.
Nah, I guess not. Right. Anyone who was actually on SNL.
Right. That's too big. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see what he does next. I mean, I guess it's another season of this, right? I mean, I don't know how long that takes in America in 2025, another 2 years.
I hope this is the one that can buck that trend. I mean, they don't need to do CGI. They don't. Again, you're not bringing in these heavy hitters. You don't need to even coordinate that many people's schedules. I think Joe Tedusco's schedule can be open.
And of course, give him a Pixar character.
Of course.
Let's see Tim Robinson do a talking aardvark or something like that too.
And we will do an episode on that Pixar film when it comes out. In the meantime, drop us a rating in there. Do the review if you can. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for listening.